Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast, and a happy new year, happy 2025. We're back with the NintendoFuse Podcast, and on this episode, we're going to be talking all about our predictions from 2024, see how we did, but also look ahead to 2025 and share some pretty interesting headlines of news that's been coming out over the last the last month since we've been on, but also like the last few days, really. My name is Steve, and to join me, of course, is Barry and Greg. So, Barry, how's it going? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's great to be back. It's great to have you back. Last time you weren't here, which is very strange to say. But happy to discuss 2025 and all the headlines and get back into it. New year, new Nintendo. Let's see what happens.
There we go. Yeah, it was a little odd to not be there and everything, but you guys held it down and did awesome. And thanks, Greg, for hosting and figuring all that out and everything. How you doing, Greg?
Doing pretty well. Yeah, that was definitely kind of scary, and thankfully Barry opted to lead because we both were trying to determine like how you can be the man behind the scenes and clicking all the buttons and doing all the things, and then simultaneously be like, "Hey, everybody, welcome!" Like doing like everything just like all at once. Like you make it seem so easy, and we're definitely very appreciative that you are there. But both of us are definitely willing to step in to help, and especially if there's times where you can't make it like before now. So, but yeah, the holidays were great and lots of good Nintendo goodies that I got from family and friends, and ready to kick off the next year to see what's going on with Nintendo up in the next 12 months.
Nice. Yeah, and also hi to Jesse and in the chat, and anybody else that is joining us live. Be sure to let us know. Say hi in the chat, and of course, as always, jump in and share all the games you've been playing, all your thoughts on the news we discuss, and of course, your predictions for 2025 when we get to that segment as well. If you're joining us later, you're listening to us after the fact, or you are watching on YouTube after the fact, please let us know in the comments or hop over into our Discord. We would love to have you over there. But also, we have social media and everything. We would love for you to join as well. Just follow us at NintendoFuse. You can let us know about all those different things right there on our social media or in our Discord, and we'd love to again have you join us. Those links are also going to be in our show notes and the YouTube description as well. Well, as always, we're going to jump into what we've been playing first. So how about let's go to you, Greg? What you've been playing over the last couple, or almost a month, I guess, since we've had our last episode.
Well, yeah, I guess your list will be a little bit longer because me and Barry were able to cover the stuff up to the 17th at least. This time it hasn't really been a ton of Switch as I would have appreciated. I did have my daughter quite a lot over her winter break, so therefore it led to a lot more Roblox sessions on my days off of work. So without further ado, for Switch, I did put some time into Blade Tomorrow. That's going to be an upcoming game chat that will be hopefully be going live in the next few days or so. And then I also had done the Victory Heat Rally that I didn't even cover last time, but that game chat's already out for if you want to hear my thoughts on that one immediately. But other than those two, I actually did log into Animal Crossing New Horizons. So like my daughter likes to log in on Christmas, New Year's Eve to see like the little countdown special and get like the special hats and stuff from Isabelle and stuff. So then I did spend like a little bit of time like kind of cleaning up my island even like doing like some of the like saying hi to the villagers, and then she got a good laugh when it's like, "Hey, Greg, we haven't seen you in 2 years and like 8 months or whatever it was." Like way to really rub in the salt on the wound, guys. Like that's always appreciated. Thanks for keeping track of that. But yeah, it was kind of fun just being able to kind of see the old place again and make a few adjustments here and there. But that was like a pretty much a one night only kind of thing, and the only time that I did that. I was pretty intrigued from the actual Game of Year awards, like the official ones. That Plucky Squire had won like the indie game thing. So then I did order that off of the Switch eShop to kind of see if what was any good. And by God, that game is completely amazing. And I like really saw like why it was nominated, and it's definitely pretty well deserving that it. I think it actually won the award as well too. But it's a lot of fun. Like you're almost like a character within like an actual like book, and then like he writes about his adventures into like other books like in a book. So it's like this kind of like weird like meta third fourth wall kind of breaking thing. And then one of the mechanics that you learn is that you can actually jump out of the book onto like the desk of like the writer, and then you can like manipulate the book and like turn the pages back if you want to like, go back and get something or whatever. And then it even like allows you to pick up certain words from the sentences of the story, and then you can interact with the words, and then you can throw them into new sentences and make new things. So it was like one of the things like, well, the moat was empty of water or whatever, then like you could change like empty to full, so then like then it fills up the moat as soon as like the word like changes. And that's a really neat effect. How it's kind of reminded me of like the Scribble Knots that was back on the 3DS, where it was a lot more base, but it is a lot more limited on options. You don't just get to write in words. It's a pretty much set of words, and it just kind of trial and error to kind of figure out like which words like will interact with the thing, and then certain words will make other effects appear, and only one of them being like a main required one. So there's like a one that was like a bug is huge or whatever, and then like I made it like tiny, but then it was still blocking my path. Like I still needed to like put in like a different word or something instead of like that one, but it still reacted to the word. It just wasn't the word it was looking for, which was also kind of interesting the way that it does that too.
Can you put in any words?
Well, certain objectives will only have like a list of like 3 or 4 or 5 words or whatever on the thing to use. The very first one, it's only like two words, so it's like either the original word that was there or the replacement word, and then eventually it'll go to like 3, and then you can do change around at different times, because usually there's like different sentences on the page, and then there might be you can interact like with all 3 of those 4 phrases or whatever to change like one word around in that sentence. And it's usually like whatever, like an adjective type word that it's like can obviously changes the features of the gameplay.
Got it.
So that it is really cool, and I do want to play that some more, but I did do like the first 4 or 5 chapters of it, and I'm having a total blast with it so far. So I'm hoping to put some more time into it here in the rest of January. But outside of that, I'm still doing my mobile gaming, which I preluded to with the Roblox with my daughter, the Adopt Me game that she likes, and like a pet story type game that she just was playing more over the break. And then also Dress to Impress, another one of her holiday favorites that she's been doing too. This unfortunately the last time I'm mentioning I'm playing Tapped Out, because it's going to be going away before the next podcast. So I guess technically I'd mention it because it doesn't go away until the 26th, but that's kind of unfortunate that's dying out. And then I'm still playing Disney Pixel RPG, still having kind of fun there and kind of taking down some of the bosses. Some of the difficulty has been really ramped up over the last event or two. Like they making this boss like it's super duper hard and frustrating a lot of people. So I don't know what they're gonna do, if it's gonna cause people to leave the game. But I'm just kind of I was able to conquer it, but it didn't. It certainly took like several numerous tries to get through. But it's starting to get that frustrating, difficult thing, and I don't know how much longer I'll be wanting to deal with that. And then a random mobile game I was recommended, I saw like an ad for, was this game called Top Girl Produce 101. It's like this like strategy RPG game where you're like a CEO of like a music business, and you can like recruit girls to like be like singers and dancers like on your team. And then it's kind of like that strategy war style game. It uses like the term fans to dictate like number of troops that you have in your army, and then it uses like the sing and dance stat for attack and defense. So it is kind of like war related, but with like kind of hidden behind that kind of stuff. And then I had played that pretty exclusively for a number of days, and then I ended up just getting kind of sick of it, and I've actually deleted the game. But I just thought it was like worth mentioning that I gave it a shot, and it's a very interesting, weird mobile game. I think it's more trying to entice the stuff that Steve kind of frowns away from, because it wasn't rated adults only, but there was no actual adult content on the game, but it's made it seems like there would be. But yeah, outside of that, that's what I've been up to the last few weeks here.
Cool. Got Jesse in the chat saying Plucky Squire looks good. I'm messing around with Wii U and Switch on HD CRT, and got and then that takes HDMI. And then it said it's looking phenomenal, but also has been playing DuckTales Remastered and Runner 2, but mainly Fluidity from WiiWare. Highly recommend. And also Kid Chameleon on Genesis. So he's going old school over the last few weeks.
I rather enjoyed the original Fluidity. The sequel, not so much, but the first one was definitely really awesome. I really like the different state changes that they implemented in the puzzles there.
Yeah, yeah. And Almost Sleek is joining us in the chat as well and waving. And so, hello, and please let us know what you've been playing as well. And as always, join us for our discussion on news and everything a little bit later, as well as your predictions for 2025. Barry, what have you been playing lately? Just a few games, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't like really gone into anything like super big. It's more like just messing around. There was a lot of sales during the holiday, and I had family over, so a lot of it was like play for just a little bit to have some fun. So Switch, I'm still doing Pokemon Unite and Star Wars Hunters. They're still my daily go-tos. Did a little Tetris 99, little F-Zero 99. Pokemon Scarlet had a shiny Rayquaza raid, so I went and did that really quickly. Still been playing Vampire Survivors, which I know Jesse will probably be happy about. Still, I'm unlocking the Arcanas right now, so I can finish unlocking all the Castlevania stuff, because we're supposed to have a game chat soon, but I think I'm the only one on the team that's played the game thus far, and I probably put like 40 something hours into the game at this point. Well, I'm trying to. I did all the Contra stuff. Now I'm doing all the Castlevania stuff. But yeah, I'm having fun with it. Um, but then I also got on sale a game I'd wanted to try, Megaton Musashi W Wired from Level 5. They've never done this physical, it's digital only. It's a lot of fun. It does get repetitive because it's very similar, but it's one of those that I could have seen this on the N64 and been having a blast. And it's, unfortunately there was no one doing multiplayer on it, which is really sad, but it's got a full like 20 something chapter story. It's a really intriguing story. The combat is fun, the missions are fun, there's a lot of them. It is really a good game, and I do highly recommend it. Went to the Castlevania collection. I was doing some Castlevania games before. I did Castlevania 1, and I still stand by death as a piece of crap in that game. It is probably the most unfair boss in Castlevania history. I went back to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown because I got the DLC on sale because Steve didn't get me a code for it.
It's not my fault.
And
Not for lack of
and I
trying.
beat the DLC. I did the DLC, and then they also added in maps that you could purchase for all the different regions. So I bought all the maps, and then I went and got everything but the last two items. They're just 2 coins. They pissed me off the first time I played it and said screw it. But I did all the quests. I got everything now, and had a little fun with it, And the DLC had some platforming challenges that I was not prepared for, but I still did it, even though it's been a year since I touched that game. That just says how fluid that game really is and how good it is. So I don't know if you did the DLC yet, Steve. It's really interesting how it starts you at base, like it wipes away all your. There's no advantage to having max everything, so everyone's on an equal playing field. But I had a lot of fun with it, so I do recommend it. Sad that game is not getting a sequel or anything else.
Oh, I found it. It's on sale now for $20 at Target. Saw it the other day. So
yeah, I found it for. I got the PS4 and the Xbox One version because they were $15 on Amazon. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm gonna get those because I love Prince of Persia and I love this game, and
it's
if
worth
it
it.
helps support them in some way, it's
Mhm.
well worth $15. Oh my god, it's such a good game. Then I played a game called Peglin, which was in a indie world last year. That was interesting to me. It's a roguelike action RPG, but it's all like Peggle. It's all pachinko. Everything, you get different balls that do different attacks, and you depending on how many things you hit in the pachinko, you do so much damage to the enemies, and it shouldn't work, but it works, and it's a lot of fun. There's shops, and you can choose where you go, and the bosses are really tough, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. So I do recommend that one. Like Greg, Blade Chimera, I did play and beat that one, and we will talk about that more in a game chat. I booted up 20XX to give that a try because I love Mega Man. It's a little more roguelike than I was hoping, so I didn't enjoy it as much, but there was a good game there. Messed around with some Pinball FX. They had a lot of the tables on sale. So I was able to mess with a few of the tables, and my wife was really happy because it was a Knight Rider table and My Little Pony and Charlie Brown. So she was having a lot of fun with that one too. It's really cool. So I hope to get the rest of the tables, but they have to go on sale because they are damn expensive. One of the games I was super excited for that came out last year that was sitting in my backlog, Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. Finally sat down to play that. I did not beat it, and the only reason I did not beat it is, for me, it's a great game. I do not like. I think the idea, if you don't know what the Saga game is, like, it's all different generations, so you pass on your knowledge from one character to another, and they get stronger and stronger as it goes on. And I think that's really neat. But the problem for me is there's a big disconnect. Like, the first, you start off and you have the king and you have his son, and when the king dies, he passes on the knowledge to the son. That makes sense. I just did a quest, and suddenly it's like 144 years later, pick the next heir, and it's just like, here's a bunch of characters that I have no idea who they are. I'm like, wait a minute. I was just attached to that guy. What, does he get married? Are these his kids? Like, what happened to him? Nope, we're just 144 years later. Here we go. And I'm like, wow, that's too much of a disconnect for me. So I didn't enjoy that, but I know other people that do love it. But that took me out of the game, which was a shame because it's a great game. I got Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. I never did that. I always wanted to play that story, and my son is like has a Power Ranger book, so when he saw it, he's like, "Oh my god!" And he's got to his Power Ranger book, and like, to me, that made the game like infinitely the best because he would recognize what it was and was just having fun with it. And I did a little of a Rita's Rewind as well, but I'm waiting for my wife to have time to do co-op that one. For the holidays,
Hudson
my
would be
dad.
proud of you for that too.
What was
The
that?
Power Rangers. Hudson would be proud of you with the Power Rangers thing, already instilling it in your son already.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He's got it. Power Rangers is awesome. And then for my dad was over for the holidays, so we played some Atari 50 and Asteroids Recharged because those are games he remembered. You know, we played them growing up together. Well, I was growing up; he was obviously not, but he had memories of them, so it was cool playing Star Raiders and Missile Command and all that stuff. Like, he was just in his element, which was awesome to see.
Nice.
I played some Blasphemous. I got that on sale. I've heard good things about it, and it is really good. I got to a boss that just kept kicking my butt, and I'm like, maybe I'll come back to this. But it is an awesome Metroidvania, like, really, really cool. Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King was on sale for like $3. So I always wanted to play it, but like, the physical copy is now going for significantly more. So I'm like, screw it, I'll just keep mine sealed. It's a Zelda-like game. So I played through that. It was relatively quick. I think it was maybe 5 hours or something, but I had a lot of fun with it. So look forward to playing the sequel now. But it's like, I'm just using this time to go back to some games I missed. But one game that did come out last week, super excited, kicking off the year right. Ys Memoir, The Oath of Felghana, the third Ys game, is now on the Switch. This is the PSP remake, the port of that. Fantastic game. I think I played through this, and I think it took me probably between 5 and 8 hours to beat it. Like, it is not a terribly long game at all, and it's a lot of fun. If you like Zelda, if you never play the Ys games, this is an easy entry point. You can join anywhere, but this is like super short. It's not super high stakes. It's a good story, great action, great platforming, a lot of fun. So do go out there and check that out and support them. We want more Ys games, and hopefully they port the other PSP games over to the Switch. And then on the NSO, I played some Tetris and Tetris DX again with my father. He was like, "Oh, the old Tetris." So that does it for me for Switch. PC still doing some Final Fantasy 14, of course, and mobile Mario Kart Tour, the New York Times games, and Pokemon TCG Pocket, another daily player.
So you really didn't get to play a whole lot.
I played a lot of games, but I didn't play a lot of all of them. Like, I probably played like one round of Tetris, or
dabbled
like
here and there.
one round of Asteroids. Yeah, it was more of a dabble thing. The big ones were like Ys, played Chimera, Blossom Tail. Like, those ones I absolutely beat. Even Prince of Persia, I think the DLC took me like, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to beat it. The thing, hour and a half, maybe two. Like, it's nothing terribly long.
Nice. Looking at the chat, Almost Sleek says, been playing Xenogears, Riviera, The Promised Land, Chrono Trigger, Tamba and the Kingdom Come Deliverance. and also agreed that Megaton is good stuff. And talking about Chrono Trigger a little more, beat it on the SNES, and now playing it in emulation now. So cool. I have been playing Blade Chimera as well. And yeah, we'll be talking about that very, very soon on a game chat. So saving all those thoughts for that. Played some Life is Strange Double Exposure. So here's fun little fact here. I think the last time I talked about getting it, but I don't think I had started it yet. So I played quite a bit of it. I think maybe 2 full chapters, maybe 3, and that was all in one setting. And I stopped, and I was hoping to go back to it to keep playing. And I think I remember I think I remember even saying, I'm not sure if I purchased the game or not. It just kind of showed up, and I was able to start playing it. Apparently, I was playing the demo. And fun story, I don't know if this is a glitch or if it was what, but I think you're only supposed to be able to play the first chapter for the demo. But I got the demo on Xbox, played it on my my handheld PC through Xbox. Like, that's how I got it, and I was just able to keep on playing. And now it kind of bums me out that I ended up quitting the game because I can't get back into it because it's like, sorry, your demo has ended.
No.
I'm like, I should have just kept on playing or paused it and
Yeah.
just left it go.
Like I told you, I think I did it in like one sitting. Like, it's really you get into it. It's like binging a show.
Totally. So I now have to go back and purchase it to keep on playing. Which I'm going to eventually. And then but enjoying it. It's different for sure. And I think I'm drawn into the fact that like I'm just as confused as she is right now. And so I'm like, what in the world is going on?
It's really trippy.
I played some Jackbox games and also played mostly with my family over holiday season, and played some of the new Jackbox Survey Scramble. And I will say that game is, number one, you have to have the right crowd to play. Like, some of my family did not enjoy some aspects of the Survey Scramble. And also, I don't know if they're doing any sort of quality control on the responses that people are giving. And so it's kind of skewing the results because it's based on surveys that people are taking. And so it's like, what in the world were people thinking? I think they're trying to mess it up sometimes too. And so like, I think they need to introduce some sort of quality control into their surveys because it's messing with the game. Like, things that should be higher on the list that everybody would agree with are now lower, and stupid answers are higher and stuff like that. So I think they need to do some tweaking there.
Because that's Jackbox. Like, it usually divulges to stupid answers.
It does, but this specifically, it's just, they need to do something. Anyway, I've been playing another game that Barry got me into, and I've been playing like a lot. That's Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. I play it probably on a regular basis. I only use the free trial. I haven't spent any money on it yet, but enjoying it a lot. And then ended up getting a free trial of Apple Arcade, and so downloaded NBA 2K25 Arcade, and been playing that a little bit. I also did get Vampire Survivors on my phone as well, so I was like, oh, now I have another place to not play the game. And then, of course, been playing Rocket League and Clash Royale, and got some cool board games over the Christmas time as well. And this for video watchers, I wanted to show a thing that I found, or my parents found, when they were searching through my stuff. I have this from when I was a child. It's like a Mario maze kind of game with the little steel ball that you kind of roll through the plastic maze and everything. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely taking that back home with me. So that was fun. I played a little bit of that too. Looks like Hassan's joining us in the chat and is excited about the predictions episode. as well. So yeah, let us know what you guys have been playing, but also let us know what your predictions are for 2025. But before we jump into the headlines for this week, I wanted to take a moment and just talk about mental wealth. And yeah, there's a lot of talk about mental health, but I think it's important for us to also talk about mental wealth, which means being proactive to focus on your sleep, your diet, your exercise, your stress management, and your exogenous compounds. And so, in fact, like one of the reasons that I play video games is actually for stress management. And you guys probably will agree with me. I think that's a lot of reasons. It's fun, but it's also for stress management. And so when we focus on our mental health, our mental wealth, we can create habits that build strong mental savings account, for if you will, and we can then withdraw from that when life gets tough. And I've been trying to take a lot better care of myself here at the beginning of the year, and I hope you guys are too. For me, that includes getting better rest, eating better, exercising more, and putting the right kind of things in my body. And that's why we're so excited that Magic Mind reached back out to us again to send us some of their shots and sponsor a few episodes. I've been using Magic Mind's mental health performance focus shot in the morning for the past 9 or 10 days. It's this one, the green one. And I've noticed I am starting to feel healthier and more focused. And I've also been drinking their brand new sleep shots at night to help me wind down after a busy day. And I am not kidding when I say this. About 5 days into drinking it in the morning, I could not believe how much I was getting done that day and how long I was staying focused. It wasn't until like at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, I got a lot done this day. And it's not just about work. I've been playing like some of the best Rocket League that I've been playing in a while as well. It's been really cool to see that. So, Greg, what's your experience with Magic Mind been like?
I pretty much equally agree with what some of the points you've been saying. I could definitely notice the effects while I'm playing some games. Like it was really helping me through some like the Blade Chamara sessions that we'll be talking about in that game chat episode there. But like it just kind of helps you think and solve, like problem solve through some of the difficult areas and other aspects of games you might encounter. And then I also enjoyed like you were saying about you, it helps you go to sleep a little bit easier. So like if you have a little trouble going to bed, like you're playing the games way too late into the night, then it's easy to as a relaxing tool to help you like be able to fall back asleep. So I did appreciate that and was able to stop using the alarmo like auto sound effects to like that play to like kind of soothe you to sleep because I didn't really need to use those anymore due to the Magic Mind thing there. So I was definitely appreciative of that. But Barry, did you want to throw in any of your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so whenever I've used like the default Magic Mind, it's not only helped with gaming, it's helped with everything. Like Steve said, I had more energy to do some cleaning and to do some work around the house, and especially now that I have a toddler, I'm chasing a toddler around the house, and as a 42-year-old man, that's not always the easiest thing to do, but suddenly I at least have the energy to keep up with him, which is awesome. And I've always been someone that is really tough to fall asleep. Like my wife hits the pillow and she's out, and I hit the pillow and maybe an hour and a half later I'm still awake. And the sleep version has helped that, has curbed that, and I've been going to sleep a lot faster, and I've been waking up way more refreshed. So it's really had a positive effect on my life thus far from trying it and using it.
Cool. So we want you guys to have an opportunity to check out Magic Mind and also improve your mental health as well, or mental wealth as well. So for the first time, they are actually bundling their focus and the sleep shots together, and we can get you 45% off that bundle if you use the link magicmind.com/NF for NintendoFuse. So that's NFJAN for January. So magicmind.com/NFJAN. And for those that are wondering, these are 100% safe. All ingredients are third-party tested, sourced from best suppliers. They're doctor validated, backed by 200 scientific studies. And the mushrooms are actually grown organically in California. On top of that, Magic Mind donates 5 cents of each bottle sold to the mental health charities that help U.S. homeless communities. And there is no risk whatsoever. If you don't like it, they will provide a 100% refund within 100 days of your purchase. So it's you don't have to worry about that at all. You can also get it in stores like Sprouts, HEB, Central Market, and Erewhon. But you can order it online and they'll ship it internationally to over 65 countries. So head over to magicmind.com/NFJAN and get 45% off the Magic Mind bundle. And we're so thankful for Magic Mind for what you're doing to improve our mental wealth. So let's move into our headlines. And of course, we're going to kick it off with Greg. Greg, tell us about what's going on in the world of movies.
Yes, yeah. So Sonic 3 has actually was at least over in theaters over the holiday season here, but it was pretty much announced pretty much one of the first days that it was out that Sonic 4 has actually been green lit to start production and all of that process. So they've already announced that the Sonic 4 movie will be coming in 2027. So be on the lookout for that. And those that haven't seen Sonic 3, there's actually a tiny little teaser at the very end of the movie, partially through the credits, that kind of link towards Sonic 4 there too as well to be on the lookout for. So great news to see that Sonic 4 will be coming out in the next few years.
And speaking of teasers for things that are to come, Nintendo of America posted a very, very short little teaser. It was the Switch 2 announcement. No, it was actually a brand new Lego console. The Lego Game Boy will be coming in October. We haven't seen it outside of a few buttons, but you can go ahead and check out that teaser. And will you be picking this one up? Because they did the NES, so Game Boy seems logically next.
It's true. Well, the other day, I awakened to an email from Amazon about my Metroid Prime 4 pre-order being canceled. This pre-order that I placed back in 2018. Apparently, that a lot of other people were placed this original pre-order, but for some reason they've began to cancel those pre-orders. No words on if they're eventually going to open them back up. Probably they will, but they basically said, hey, we're canceling your pre-order because there's no stock, which makes sense because the game still keeps getting delayed, and maybe we'll get it in 2025. But yeah, sorry, but hopefully they'll open them back up.
So the Nintendo Music app has been on a roll for slaughtering the online service games being added to the library. We've got a number of games that have been added over the last month or so. So on December 20th, we got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. On December 23rd, we got Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and also Ocarina of Time. On January 6th, we got Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. And then as of just basically the last few days here on January 13th, we got Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. So anyone that's an avid subscriber of the Nintendo Music app, just keep these tracks keeping added. It's great content here.
And in a surprising pretty much bit of news, or at least bit of information, there was an interview conducted by Game Maestro with Miyamoto-san back in 2000. Well, Shumplations, weird name, but they recently translated this interview, and they asked Miyamoto about the origin of the pipes and why Mario has the pipes. And he pretty much stated that the original Mario Brothers also established that Mario was a plumber. They were trying to think of what other enemies they could have in addition to turtles, and they came up with crabs and flies, and they figured the only environment with all three of those creatures would be an underground tunnel or the sewers. So that is the reason we have pipes as so prevalent in the Mario series. So just good old Miyamoto.
Nice. And of course, we got some rumors about Nintendo Switch Successor, and there are a lot of sources that are pointing to a reveal on January 16th of 2025. So as we're recording this on January 14th, we may be facing just a couple days away, maybe, from the first reveal about the Switch Successor. Many people are talking about this all across the internet. We're going to talk about our predictions in just a bit, but right now, all sources seem to be pointing toward a January 16th reveal. But of course, Nintendo themselves have not spoken about this yet. They've only kept to their end of this fiscal year, which means by the end of March 2025, we will have it revealed. So maybe this Thursday, but potentially just by the end of March. So let's talk about these headlines real quick. Greg, anything stand out to you, and anything you want to talk about?
Well, as I was responding to a few comments in the chat, I was really excited to see that Sonic 4 has actually been announced, because like my daughters really loved the series, and it even kind of helped like through like the initial medical issue that she had like back in 2021, and got really super like familiar with like the Sonic movie series and stuff, like the first one or two that was out at the time, and then now we got to see third one, and we, as I even mentioned, there is that little teaser thing for anyone that hasn't seen the third one yet, so it kind of links it to the fourth one, and then you kind of know who's going to be kind of introduced. I mean, I guess it's not really a surprise that they've been adding new characters for each extra one, so like it's not really a spoiler if you see like the scenes of the first movie and the second movie. So that's great to see that they're kind of continuing that forward. The Lego Game Boy thing definitely is very interesting. I'm gonna have to see how much that's gonna set back. I mean, I kind of have I guess slightly buyer's regret for this Legend of Zelda thing that was $300, but it is really cool though. But I don't know if it's $300 cool. But I guess it just kind of depends on what this Game Boy is gonna set us back. If it's much more reasonable, I might be looking to get it, but also it might have to be a pass. But yeah, the Metroid Prime 4 thing, I somehow had accidentally canceled my own pre-order, and then it wouldn't let me reissue it. So I don't know what was going on there, but I guess it's kind of to clean up some of the pre-orders that were made like so far in advance. And I think I even put in our Discord that like a 3DS game was also finally like returned like and canceled, even though it's 3DS has been long dead for basically the entire Switch life cycle. So that's kind of interesting there that they're like finally it's like, hey, all these people pre-ordered these games, and they're not out yet. Let's just cancel them. So like, it's very interesting that they finally chose to do that. Of course, now that it's almost here too, but yeah, I guess that's beside the point. I'm still really happy to see the music app getting updates. Like I was just listening to some of the Wind Waker music and Super Mario 64 music over the last like month or so, and I'm just like driving around in the car because it's my favorite source of music for while just driving, just listening to classic games. So it's always like the perfect app for me. And then yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting to learn more about the Mario Brothers history, as it was kind of obscure that the interview was done so long ago, and then they finally found like somebody just finally just found it to be translated and stuff net for these days today. So that's still great to see there. And then yeah, I'm sure we'll be diving into the Switch Successor stories here in a little bit, so I won't reveal all my thoughts because it kind of links into my personal predictions on that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Sonic 3. I think that's getting some people I've seen are not liking it as much. And I wouldn't say it's one of the strongest ones. I think my favorite of the three is still the first one. But I'm excited to see more Sonic. I think they're doing a great job at these movies. I'm interested to see what that price tag is going to be with the Lego Game Boy as well. At the beginning, I was like, if this thing actually plays games, it'd be fantastic, but that's not going to happen. It was like that. That's what crossed my mind at first, though. And then, yeah, the pre-order thing was really kind of silly. Like, I'm actually surprised they kept it around this long. So I'm just waiting until I can strike up the pre-order again, and see when the other stores will open their pre-orders as well. Nintendo Music app is one of those things. I don't listen to it all the time, but I love that it's there. And when I need it or when I want it, I'm so glad it's there. And they keep adding more and more music, which is awesome. And the pipes thing, like, it makes sense to me. So but it was still cool to hear Miyamoto talking about that and everything. And like you said, we're going to be talking more about the Switch Successor probably pretty soon, I'm guessing, in our predictions for this year. Barry, what'd you think about these?
Yeah, so Lego Game Boy, again, it depends on the price. I never got the NES because of space, and I don't have a spot to display it. Like Greg, I did get the Deku Tree. It's still sitting in the box because I don't have a spot to display it. And I think if I could have made both of them, it would be different. but I'll probably wind up saving that and making it with my son when he's a little older and can appreciate it. I think that'd be a fun little activity. As for the other stuff, I'm happy to see Nintendo Music getting updates. I wish they updated NSO apps at the rate they update Nintendo Music, but beggars can't be choosers, right? Sonic 3 was awesome. I loved it. It's kind of weird though because due to the teaser of Sonic 4, we know the game they're going based off, which happens before Sonic Adventure 2, which is what Sonic 3 is based off of. So that's kind of weird. Actually, it happens before Sonic 3 as well, so so it really should have been the second movie, if you will. But they
They're
kind of
making their
combined
own
Sonic
world.
2 and 3, Knuckles all there. But yeah, no, I'm excited for that. I did see that Sonic 3 is now the highest grossing video game movie behind Mario, the 3D Mario. So that's really cool. The pipe thing makes sense. I mean, Mario had a lot of jobs when he started, right? He was a carpenter, he was a referee, he was an umpire, he drove a little spaceship to destroy blocks. He did a lot of things before he was even a doctor. So it just to me makes sense. And Metroid Prime 4, I did get that email that it was canceled. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Nintendo and Amazon have had this really weird relationship lately. Like a lot of first party games are not there. In fact, all first party games are not there for pre order. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. I mean, Mighty Number 9 was also canceled for the 3DS and the Vita, but that's not Nintendo. But that's just probably Amazon looking like, oh, we better cancel this because these are never coming out. I mean, yeah, the Switch 2, anything could happen. Anything we could wake up tomorrow to an announcement, or we have to wait another 2 months. I don't know, but we'll be talking more on our predictions. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that
Yeah.
here.
It's going to happen soon. Well, again, if you... Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say one thing I did remember that I wanted to talk about, at least the music app. Like I noticed on, at least for Mario 64, there was quite a number of tracks that were missing. Like the Wing Cap song is not there, and also the Metal Hat one is also not there too. So I don't know if there's plans to build those out to be more complete, but I did notice there was like a few that weren't there, and I even have like some of the original CDs from the game that were those obviously were there, and then my second issue with it is they had the Invisible Mario track there, but they also named it Powerful Mario. So I don't know how that kind of associates. You would think Powerful would be like the metal cap, but so I don't know if like their naming convention has been the best, and also meaning they haven't really kept some of the established names that, like when they did print like a few of the limited like soundtracks onto CDs and stuff. So was just two interesting takeaway things there to note from my personal experience using the app with it.
Huh. That is interesting. I'm glad you. Yeah, I haven't looked into the app in depth like that to find out. That's interesting. One of the thoughts that just popped in my head from the app too is, do you guys know what the quality of these tracks are? Like, are they like MP3 level, or are they something higher? And I'm not a huge audiophile. A lot of times I can't tell unless it's like significantly better recording. I'm assuming it's probably something around MP3 or slightly higher than that. I'm guessing they're probably not putting full like lossless music in there, but do either of you guys know at all, or has it been looked into at all?
I don't
I'm
know
not
for
sure.
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't really know. I'm also not really an audiophile, and like, it has to be like HD music or whatever. Like, and it has to be whatever the terminology is, or MP6 or something, or whatever they're at now. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, whatever is on there is what I've just been listening to, and it's like obviously it's basically free with the NSO subscription, so you're getting what you pay for, I guess. So I don't
Clearly,
know.
it's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I mean, the inclusion part is not good enough. Like they're omitting certain tracks and stuff. Because like I did notice, like even from Donkey Kong Country 2, a number of the tracks are also not matching up with the CD I have there too. But that's kind of where like finally caught the naming convention thing is when I switched it from DKC2 to Mario 64.
Hmm. Well, let's jump into our main discussion for this episode, and that's our predictions. So, we're going to look back at our 2024 predictions, see how well we did in 2024. And sometimes, we've had past years where I have totally forgotten what I predicted. And that was not necessarily the case throughout 2024 because there was one prediction that was just glaring at me all year long. And because I was really close to changing it and I didn't change it and I was so upset. So we're gonna talk through 2024 predictions, see how well we did in comparison to the actual 2024 that we all lived through, and then we're gonna give our 2025 predictions, and then we'll look ahead to the games that are coming out in 2025, at least the ones we know about, and kind of talk about the ones that we're most excited about. So that's kind of the layout for the next several minutes of this episode. So let's look back at 2024 and just kind of collectively talk about how we did. We can run through our predictions real quick and just kind of see how many we actually got correct. And we typically will give ourselves like half points and quarter points and things like that, just to throw some credit our way, even though a lot of times our predictions are completely off. So Greg, how about you kick us off and talk about how you did for 2024?
Yeah, so I might have cheesed like a fraction of a point out of one of my predictions because like it did kind of relate, and I do know it did catch you guys off guard, and you guys were pretty impressed with it. Like one of my predictions dealt with like the Switch 2 games, and obviously we don't even have the Switch 2 to begin with, but I did list in there that we would get a new Zelda game and also a new 2D Zelda game, and we did get Echoes of Wisdom, but therefore it's not on Switch 2, so that's where I was also trying to say, like, I guess I can get some sort of fraction of a point. I don't know.
Half. I would give half for sure.
Okay, so then yeah, I did some sort of. I knew that had to count for something. 'Cause, like I was like kind of threw that out there, saying like, well, maybe we'll get like a new Zelda game, and then but we actually totally did, and that was incredible there. But yeah, that was at least one of like my Switch 2 games I had listed. Like I also had like Metroid Prime 4 and like other things like that that never came to fruition because we obviously didn't get the system either, and also didn't even get Metroid Prime 4. So like that's where I was just kind of deserving of like a half credit thanks to Barry there. The other one that I had said that I did give myself a half point for is also relates that we would get the Switch Successor in 2024 as well, but obviously that wasn't the case. But I did include that it would be backwards compatible and it would use the NSO. So I did give myself the extra half of the point because those two pieces were confirmed in 2024, even though we did not get the actual system and it was like announced and also like released within the year. It was the main beef of the prescription, the prediction there. So I guess that puts me at a grand total of 1 point, with the other three being like the Fire Emblem Echoes not ever coming out, and then also I was saying there would be like a franchise revival game like a Punch Out or Kid Icarus type game that obviously didn't come to fruition either. And then even I was trying to guess that there'd be like a character crossover type game, and even that didn't even seem to mount into anything either, as we got a lot more remakes and remasters over this year and very few of like a kind of crossover type game. I was kind of feeling it after we had like the spin-off game like the previous year. I had the prediction for that, but yeah, so I guess I have a grand total of 1 point thanks to 2 half credits.
Wow, it's a strong prediction here.
Yeah.
Thankful for those half points here and there. Barry, how'd you do?
All right, so I'm gonna read mine, and we'll see how I did. First one, I said the Switch 2 will be announced and launched this year, of course. Announcement will come in spring or summer, depending on Luigi's Mansion 2 or Paper Mario's release date. System will launch in September or October. It'll feature more power, at minimum base PS4/Xbox One, more likely PS4 Pro, Xbox One X. Slim chance the power of the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, but maybe the S. To cut costs, they'll go back to the LCD screen. System will be fully backwards compatible with the Switch and NSO. However, not content with a more powerful Switch, Nintendo will add some form of gimmick, which will be neat for the first few seconds, then will largely be ignored by every third party and Nintendo after future releases. So I'm going to give myself half a credit here because A, we do have the backwards compatibility, and B, if the rumors are true, because they did make an announcement last year. They just didn't give the announcement, but the rumors are true that it will be as powerful as a PS4 Pro with an Xbox Series S docked. So I did call that out. So I'm going half point on that. Number 2, I said with major development teams working on Switch 2 games, the Switch will have a year of ports. We'll finally see the Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD releases, Metroid Prime 2 and possibly 3, Xenoblade X, possibly another Kirby game like Epic Yarn. Going further, due to the success of Mario RPG, we'll see at least one more NES, SNES, Game Boy Color, N64, Game Boy Advance, Virtual Boy Ever remake. It will not be released in 2024, but it will at least be announced. As much as I want to give myself at least something for Xenoblade X, I'm giving myself 0 points because none of those other games came out, and there wasn't even a remake of any of those systems. So 0 points for that one. Metroid Prime 4, finally, after over 5 years of being restarted, will make an appearance in some form. Launch title for Switch 2, holiday title for Switch 2, a new logo with some glitter and a message, please look forward to it. Game will be addressed this year somehow. I'm giving myself a full point because it was addressed and we got a trailer. That's all I said, it had to be addressed. So full point. So that's 1.5. Number 4, Nintendo will revive an older IP with a new game. While I'd love to say Star Tropics, I'm not holding my breath. Realistically, F-Zero, thanks to 99 Success, Star Fox, or Golden Sun, thanks to the first 2 games getting praise on NSO. Kid Icarus also has a chance to come back if Sakurai wishes it to happen. I have to give myself a point to this because not only did they revive one IP, they actually revived 2 IPs because Endless Ocean and Famicom Detective Club both came back this year or last year now with brand new games that I don't think anyone saw coming.
It's true.
But that's reviving an old 2 old IPs.
Wasn't the ones you were hoping for, but hey, they're there.
I was just throwing out suggestions, but the prediction was for a new IP, for an old IP to come back, and there were 2 of them, 3 if you want to count another Code, which we got a remade, but the other 2 qualify it. So that's 2.5 now. And my last one, NSO evolved for the Switch 2. Basic tier gains Sega Master System, Sega Game Gear, and Game & Watch. Expansion pass gets GameCube, TurboGrafx 16, Sega CD 32X. These games may not work for the original Switch as an incentive for people to jump to the new hardware, but more likely being older games will be applied to everybody. This, however, will make the price jump $5 each tier. A big fat 0 because NSO got little love last year. So 2.5 I end up with.
Hey, Jesse's mentioned in the podcast in the chat that Mario and Luigi also came back too.
Well,
so.
that did come back. You're right.
If
you want to count that as a dormant one, so yes, that's another new, another old one coming back.
And that doesn't literally make sense because I had the exact same prediction, but then I totally missed that those other ones that you mentioned were there along with Mario and Luigi. So I guess I have to revise my previous count up to a full 2 points because my prediction just does it's a franchise revival game, and that's like very generic. It didn't specify it had to be Punch Out or Kid Icarus. I just didn't have the information that you did that there were, in fact, I guess technically 3 revivals this year.
Yeah, those are older of 4 if you count another Code.
Yep.
Well, I did not do well. In fact, I was ready to give myself as just a big fat 0 for the year, but as you guys were talking, I had some similarities here and there, and so because you guys gave yourself half points and stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and give myself some half points as well. And I'm realizing as I'm looking at my list, I've had predictions about the Switch 2, Switch Pro, Switch Successor for 3 years in a row. I think 4 years in a row. I believe. Yeah. So it's been a while. But looking back at 2024, I said that there was going to be a new 3D Mario game announced for the next console, combining aspects of Odyssey and Wonder. Nope. I said that there was going to be another non-Nintendo console library added to the Switch NSO. Nope. As we've already discussed. I said that Metroid Prime Trilogy would be released for Switch, while Prime 4 is announced for the next console, but not launch. I'm going to give myself like a 1/10 of a point for not launch.
Well, you actually said it was going to be for the next console, and so thus far, all we know it for is Switch.
That's
1.
true. That's why I'm not even a 1/4 of a point. It's a 1/10 of a point because I need some mercy here.
Granted.
And then I did say the next. This is the one that kills me because I was so close to changing this. That the next console launches at holiday 2024, and almost fully backward compatible. And
Oh,
so it is backward compatible. They've
but not you
said
said almost fully.
they've said it's going to be backward compatible. I don't know if they've declared like if how much is there going to be, like maybe like 2 games that won't work like that. So at this point I'm going to give myself a percentage of points. I don't even know what I'm going to say. Like I'm going to say a third of a point on that one.
There you go.
But it bugs me so much because I was so close. You can go back to last year's episode. I was so close to saying it's not going to happen in 2024, and I decided to go ahead and go for it. But that would have been my only full point, because my last one was that there was going to be an update to the handheld only Switch to keep pushing both systems, and there was no touching
Nothing.
that Switch Lite at all. So I didn't even get a full point, guys. Like I did horrible for
Steve.
2024. Horrible.
Damn.
Well,
let's hope 2025 is better, right?
Well, let's hope. And I know for like from 2023, I know I wasn't as ambitious with my predictions. And for 2024, I knew that I pushed it more. And that's what I get for pushing it more. Nothing actually happened. For 2025, I feel like I kind of landed somewhere in the middle. So we'll see how it goes for this year's predictions. If you're new to our predictions episode, we are basically going to take it very similar to our Game of the Year episode as well. We're just going to go one prediction each, kind of go around the horn and share each of those. We can kind of give some feedback if we want after each of those predictions from each person. And we may be shuffling them around to kind of like build off whatever the person said in front of us sometimes. But for my predictions, I will say I wrote them like, I think it was like last Friday. So it was like January 10th or something, like 9th or 10th. So this is what it's coming from. So if anything happened between then, like, this, just know that I didn't have, like, for instance, all these leaks that have been happening over the last couple of days in my head. And the news that possibly the Switch is going to be announced this Thursday. That was not in my head when I was writing my predictions. I'm not sure about when you guys wrote yours. Greg, I know you got to him like a week or two ago.
Yeah, I looked at it right at like the turn of the year, so like I think it was around January 2nd. I did slightly modify it, like one that I just added extra details, which I can elaborate further on, but I didn't like totally change the prediction around. So like it's still basically the same. I just added slightly more detail into it when I get to it.
Cool. Barry, when did you get around to writing yours?
Not this weekend, but the weekend prior.
Okay, cool. So all of them are not predictions that we wrote today or even yesterday. We've had some days to sit on it, and so recent news over the last couple of days have not necessarily influenced it that much, if at all. So and Greg will explain his when we get to that. So let's start with you, Greg. What's one of your predictions for 2025?
Well, I wanted to do that one off the top here because it's got to be the topic everyone's going to be kind of congregating towards. It's the Switch successor. So I am going out like on it, and I am going to say that the Switch 2 as like the official name is going to be the console name. It's going to be revealed in like some sort of teaser form, and this is the update that I made on January 23rd. I do not see it going down on the 16th due to the Donkey Kong Country Returns also going through that day, releasing on that day. And I did a little research and saw that back in 2016, Color Splash had released in Japan on October 13th, and then the Switch NX teaser was on October 20th. So it was like exactly a week after a major release. And that's where this detail came in, where I'm saying that's going to be January 23rd. I feel like they would really kill the sales of the game if it were to go down this Thursday, as everybody is clamoring for. Um, so that was the one detail I modified there. So then I was saying that we'll have like the showcase trailer of like the games that will be shown in either February or March, and then it would be released anytime after April all the way through November. I didn't really have an exact timeline pinned down, but then I was also putting in that it was probably going to, in my mind, I was thinking it was going to cost $399.
Wow. All right. Cool. That's a lot packed into one prediction.
Yeah.
Yep.
I separated some of mine, but yeah, you may get some half points and quarter points there for 2026. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see. All right, Barry, how about your first prediction?
All right, so piggybacking off of Greg, I say the Switch Successor will launch before the end of summer, and it's not held back to launch during the holiday season. We know that it's going to be announced before March 31st, so I'm not going to make an announcement prediction because we know that's a timeline already established. But I do think the console will launch before the end of summer. I do not think they're going to hold it back to the holiday.
Interesting. Well, how about I just go ahead and throw my my release prediction in there as well. And here's what I'm going to do. For 2024, I should have pushed it back. I'm pushing it back for 2025. It's going to be a fall release. Fall release of the next Switch, the next console. So I didn't give it a name. I just said Switch Successor. I wasn't bold enough to also call it something. But the Switch Successor would. I think they're gonna push it back. They're gonna capitalize on the fall and holiday sales and gives them a little more time. I think. And here's the other thing, because what we've heard, that it may have already been delayed at least once, if not twice, from what their original plan was going to be, because of semiconductors and all these different things that are hard to get. I wonder, I'm thinking that they are going to try to plan as big of a launch as they can have happen, and that way everybody gets one, and there's no chance that that most people will be able to get theirs, and so they're going to just bank them as much as they can and push it out in the fall and holiday season. So I'm going to say fall. I'm not going to say a holiday release, but a fall release for the Switch Successor.
So you say fall, I say before summer.
I mean, if I did were to pin it down, I was thinking it was going to be June or July, but I wanted to give myself some leeway given with the other Pacifics that I have in there. And that's why I was just like, it's just going to be like after the next part of the fiscal year, starting in April, and then I gave just all the way through up to the holiday season in November. So that's where I was going there. I didn't know what months Barry was counting as summer, because I know sometimes it's washed. Like, is it going by like the summer equinox to the fall equinox?
Summer ends September
or is it like
20.
when the weather?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I was thinking the official summer or official fall.
Like,
yeah. So it starts
September 21st is the first day of fall.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Before
December
that.
21st or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
sounds good. So
it'll be interesting.
I was kind of somewhat repeating my last year's Switch 2 game predictions, but obviously I didn't really call out another Zelda game because I'm not going to be that overconfident in that. So I was going to say that there's going to be the next Mario Kart game as a launch window game, along with Metroid Prime 4 being a cross-gen release both on Switch and Switch 2. And then I was also going to say there's probably a new 3D Mario type game, whether it's like Odyssey 2 or Galaxy 3 or whatever have you type game, where it's 3D Mario adventure game.
Nah. You're being brazen with your specifics.
I know.
Yeah.
So my next one to piggyback off that is not as specific as yours, but I do say that we'll get at least 2 brand new games from major Nintendo IPs that have not been announced yet. So I'm not counting Pokemon Legends, and I'm not counting Metroid Prime 4, because we know those, and obviously DKC and Xenoblade are remakes, ports, so they're not brand new. So I think we're gonna get 2 brand new games. I don't want to say which series because I don't know, as long as it's a major series, because Nintendo is very unpredictable. I thought you were crazy with the Zelda thing last year, and you were spot on. So what the hell do I know?
Nice. Well, how about I just go ahead and throw my game prediction there as well, and mine is also not nearly as specific, just because I wanted to be safe. Because not only did my game prediction last year not happen, but it wasn't even close to any. Because it didn't happen, the details didn't matter. I'm going to say that the Switch Successor will launch with a new Mario game. A Mario game will be there, and I'm saying like Mario Kart does not count. I'm thinking a Mario game. Now I'm still hoping for the prediction that I had for 2024, a combination of like Odyssey and Wonder, kind of like take the best aspects of both. That'd be really fun. Not part of my prediction. That's a desire and a hope. But my prediction is just an actual like mainline Mario game will launch with the next the Switch Successor.
Nice.
Greg, number 3.
So now I can start jumping into like I guess, well, I felt like those first two, I guess, were somewhat safer than some of the other ones, but I guess the final like safe-ish one is that Nintendo's going to launch a new either application or even a game on iPhone and Android. So kind of, I don't know if it's like a Legend of Zelda game or some other type of application that we don't know we need. Like we got the Nintendo Music last year, so I don't know if there's still another game in the pipelines that we might see in 2025. So I thought we might see like another mobile application of some form there.
They've definitely cut the funding for some other ones. So what are they doing with that?
Don't know. We'll find out.
Nice. Barry, number 3.
All right. I did not go to the mobile, but in terms of releasing, I'm going to say that Nintendo is going to continue that trend of 2024 and revive at least one more IP that's been dormant for a bit. I've been saying it for a while, and last year gave me some real big hope. We had some real, series come out of nowhere, come back into the spotlight. We had four games or IPs come back into the spotlight. I want to see them do it again. I think they're going to do it at least one more time.
All right. Maybe some of those that you were hoping for last year.
Maybe I would. I'm not getting
Star
specifics
Tropics,
every time I've said
2025.
Star Tropics. I doubt Star Tropics is ever happening. It's more like wishful thinking. But I will probably shit my pants if they just suddenly were like Star Tropics 3. But what?
Jesse's hoping for a new Fluidity. That'd be fun.
Could
That'd
happen.
be fun. I am going to go back to a Switch Successor prediction. And I'm going to predict that they will have at least 2 SKUs for the Nintendo Switch Successor. There will be one normal one, and I'm going to say they're going to go down the Pro route as well. So I think they're going to take a page from both Xbox and PlayStation, and I think we're going to have 2 different SKUs for the Nintendo Switch Successor. One typical one. And that's how they're going to handle the price thing, because we want a very powerful next Nintendo console. They're not going to do that for the main thing. And so they're going to want to keep that low price and be able to say next Switch is out for $300 or $350 or something like that lower price point. But I think they're going to, because of all this, the different, backward compatibility and all that stuff they're going to work in, and things could be enhanced on these different systems because NVIDIA is doing all these things with fancy stuff with the chips and all that stuff. I think they're going to be able to have 2 SKUs. The higher one will be some sort of pro thing, probably, price that thing at like $500 instead of $300 or whatever. And that's going to be not for everybody, but similar to like the pro versions of Xbox and PlayStation. I think we're going to have at least 2 different SKUs for the Switch Successor.
Very nice.
That's pretty bold.
It is.
They haven't done that since the Wii U.
We saw how that one went over.
and that wasn't power. That was only memory
storage.
difference.
Yeah. Watch it just be storage again this time. The Pro has twice as much storage.
Or maybe they'll take like another note and say like, only one will be playing cartridges and the other one just be digital.
I am not
Oh
going to say
God,
that.
no,
I think
no,
Nintendo's
that's
going to stick
terrible.
with physical media for both of them for sure.
Yeah.
I see them doing that too, but I was just calling that out there as like that could technically be an option when they're doing multiple SKUs.
They could.
I hope it's not that, but you never really know sometimes.
Yep. All right, number 4, Greg.
All right, so this one definitely was more came up from the last like month or so. We've seen lots of love towards Donkey Kong. I understand that we finally have like a lots of going on there with like the theme park edition, and then we also had like all these games coming to NSO, like the country games along and the land games. So I was kind of saying that we'll get a new Donkey Kong Country Returns, like the third edition of it, as we'll finally have the first two on Switch. And then I was also throwing in like an add-on saying that I think that they'll still add DK64 to the NSO application at some point as well too, to go along with like that DK, like almost like year of DK kind of thing that I'm thinking.
Interesting. What is the DK? It's like 35th anniversary, 40th anniversary, something like that. It's got to be pretty high up there.
Yeah,
Forty-
I think it's like 40 or 45 even or something like that. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
Nice.
might be 40.
So if it is, like, I could definitely see something big like that happening this year to celebrate the anniversary.
Yeah, I know DK's normally been silent on like the actual anniversaries, but I feel like there's like this build up, especially with like the theme park edition, and then obviously with like the land and country games just all getting dropped in like 1 month, like 1 or 2 months time. I just feel like it's kind of prepping for something big DK. But
Cool. All right, number 4, Barry.
All right. Well, this one's kind of picked from the 2024 and brought to 2025 because it didn't happen in 2024. So I'm kind of hoping it happens in 2025. And that is with the Switch and the Switch 2, both using the NSO, we're finally going to get a new system added. I'm not going to say which system or what. Could be the Game Gear, could be the Master System, could be TurboGrafx. I don't know. It could be anything. But we're finally going to get a new system added to at least one of the tiers, because Switch 2 or whatever they call it, we know it's going to use NSO. They're going to want to use that to push it.
Nice. I gave up on my prediction for that. I did not bring it over. I was like, nope. I saw what
Watch,
happened
this
in
is the year it
2024.
happens,
Probably we're
and
gonna
then you're
get like
going to kick
5 new
yourself.
ones. Like,
yep,
Nintendo Switch Successor plays pretty much every retro system. Yeah,
all retro systems are here.
yeah. I mean, heck, when the Atari 50 is basically turning into something. It's not on NSO, but it's turning into its own just Atari emulator.
Well, you know what it is, and people, I've seen people comment about this, like, oh, the NES app is missing the Mega Man games and then the Castlevanias, but all those games have their own collection, and I think it's getting harder and harder for Nintendo to actually get games for NSO because so many of these collections are coming out where they're like, oh no, we even Sega, they stated that they weren't going to put Sonic games on NSO because of Sonic Origins they had planned, but because it launched with Sonic 2, Sonic Spinball, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, they weren't going to remove those games, but there wouldn't be any other Sonic games added at that point. So I think a lot of these companies are seeing these collections do well, and they're just, let's do that route instead of NSO. And I think, honestly, outside of Nintendo's own IPs, that's why it's getting harder and harder for these games to come out. And lately, it's been more Nintendo games or Nintendo published games they've been putting out instead of third party. Yeah. That's why we get stuff like Quest for Camelot, because it's like, well, that's not getting a collection. Here you go, NSO people.
My fourth one is pretty simple. I think because of the Switch Successor launching this year, I think they're going to give a price drop to the Nintendo Switch Lite. I think we're going to see our first price drop on the Switch, and it's going to be the Lite, because I think they're going to still push that potentially. They may not be as public as they were when they had the Game Boy and the home console, and then the DS and everything, that the 3-tier thing that they had for a while, or 3 pillars. I don't know if they're going to be as public about that, but I would see them going back to almost saying like this next the Switch Successor is going to be their next home console that also does, what it does, but they're going to want to keep the Switch Lite around. And that's what a lot of people are going to be buying for their low price handheld version that's going to play all these games that's been out for a long time. But in order to really continue pushing it, they're going to be some sort of price drop on the Lite.
Nintendo's three pillars. They've tried it twice and both times failed.
Yep.
It's amazing how fast those pillars just come crashing down after they make those statements.
Virtual Boy did not survive as a third pillar, and the GBA did not survive as a third pillar, thanks to the DS just taking over.
Yep. But we'll see. See what happens this time. So, yeah, I doubt they're going to actually publicly say anything about pillars this time.
You never know.
It's true. You never know. Well, number 5, then, Greg, our last prediction.
So it had dawned on me, like, just kind of going through like the old footage and getting stuff, that I did get like a vague memory that we did discuss it as one of the headlines, saying that Sakurai was working on a special project, and I was predicting that we'll actually find out what that project would be during 2025. I'm not saying it's going to be released, but I think it's going to at least be like showcased or announced in some fashion.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that, but that'd be fun to hear what he's working on. Nice. All right, Barry, for your last one.
All right. All these talk about Switch 2 and Switch Successor, except for your talk about the Switch Lite. I'm going back to the first Switch 2 on this one. And I think Switch 1 is going to see a year made up of mostly ports and remakes, and possibly a new game that's just been held over or still in development. They just haven't announced yet, that we're just not aware of. I'm not counting Pokemon Legends or Metroid Prime 4, of course, because we know these. There might be several releases that launch for both Switch and Switch 2, but I think for the majority of this year, we're going to see Nintendo use ports and remakes to fill out. If you look at 2024, we had almost half the year was ports and remakes, and the other half were new games, but games that had been in development for a while. And we already know this year with Donkey Kong Country and Xenoblade X, we're having ports and remakes. And I think that's going to be their strategy going forward, that they're going to do more of that to sustain the Switch audience, and they're playable on the Switch too, and put the more of the newer games, with the exception of a few, that are on both, on the Switch too.
All right. Cool. Well, so earlier I said that I was not going to be making any predictions about new systems coming to NSO, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be making a prediction about the NSO. And my prediction is this: that there will be, this is an either or, maybe both will happen, but I would see an increase to the price of the Nintendo Switch Online membership. I think they're going to make an additional or a price increase because, and they're going to spin it in a lot of different ways. I think it could be because they're just bringing it to the Switch Successor, and they've got to increase inflation, all those sort of things. Because let's be honest, it's dirt cheap. It was dirt cheap when it launched compared to other systems and their online prices and everything. And so they're going to get closer and closer to that. And I'd say the reasons for that is they're probably also going to be adding an additional tier to the, so either the overall thing is going to increase, or they're going to offer an additional tier. So right now we have the basic expansion pack, and I'm going to say there's something else. So either overall increase to include something, or because they're adding an additional tier. One of those things is happening. An additional tier, you're like, what would that look like? I'm thinking they may be adding something like Xbox Game Pass to it, where it would not just be the NSO games, but here's a collection of games that you can also play from our library that is beyond our retro games. So that could be something like an additional tier that they would offer. That, of course, that would be it would be reliant on an increase in price to be able to get access to something like that.
Now to go along with their naming, the NSO, and then expansion pack. This higher up tier better be called 64DD or something like that. As the
That would be awesome.
next thing.
That
Add
would be
on.
I thought it
fantastic.
was gonna be called like CDI or something.
Oh, they
Yeah,
don't own CDI.
I know, but
the
interesting
what
callback.
could be.
They
Yeah.
don't want to
I was
even acknowledge
yeah.
CDI.
Yeah, the other
They'll
thing
call it
that I was
PlayStation.
there you go. That name's not taken, right?
Nah.
The other random thought I had was maybe they'll just call it like Rumble Pack Edition or something, like another
Rumble
expansion,
Pack.
like
Or
Rumble HD.
GBA or Game Boy Transfer Pack.
There you go. So those are our 2025 predictions. Did we see any in
E-reader.
the? It's an e-reader. There we go.
E-reader.
Do we have any other predictions in the chat? I think Jesse made a prediction. I wasn't sure if anybody else did or not.
Yeah, if you want to call it a prediction, it's not very realistic.
Oh, yeah, he said it is that that the next system is just going to be called Switch and it's backward compatible with Wii.
Yeah,
Is his prediction. Yeah,
I don't think that's serious though.
But he's also wanting a Pilot Wings launch title.
Yes.
And that would be fun. That'd be really fun to see Pilot Wings launching with a Nintendo system.
Is Pilot Wings the only Nintendo owned IP that has only existed as a launch title? Like, if there any other like actual like a franchise, like an IP, not just a one-off game, that has only ever launched with a system and never had a launch that happened even a day after the system launched? Because Pilot Wings has only happened 3 times all launches.
I mean, it depends if you are counting the things that could be categorized as like Wii Sports, Nintendo Land, and like 1-2 Switch as like launch title is games, like just kind of the show off the hardware type games. I know it's not an actual franchise or a series, but it's like a game that it's meant to show off the console, and you can kind of backdate that to like Mario 64 was to show off the 64 controller in 3D, and Mario World.
But Mario 64 is 3D Mario that's existed outside of launch. Wii Sports as a series has existed outside of launch with Wii Sports Resort, Wii Sports Club, and Nintendo Switch Sports.
Switch Sports, yeah.
Nintendo Land
might be
an IP. It's
one of the only ones that's only been launch titles.
Only ever been. Even if you want to count Steel Diver, you can't, because Steel Diver Sub Wars did happen later on in the 3DS life cycle. So like, I think Pilot Wings might be the only Nintendo IP that has only existed as a launch.
It's time. Jesse also says, you see, his prediction for the Wii will work because the Wii with no Roman numerals with 2, it'd be the Switch. And they put the 2 I's back in Switch. I see what you're doing there. Let's take a step away from our predictions and things that we don't actually know what's going to happen, and let's talk about the things that are happening for sure. And let's take a look at the games that have been announced for 2025. Now, some of these games we know the exact launch dates. They've already been clear with that, and some of these are still in a window of a certain month, and some of them are just sometime in 2025. And who knows, they may get pushed back to 2026. But these are the launch the games that we know that are going to be launching right now, and Nintendo actually has these on the Nintendo of Europe page, not on the America page, but they had them on their English the UK page. So it's like, let's pull them off there. So we know that Donkey Kong Country Returns HD comes out on January 16th, so just a couple days away as of this recording. Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist comes out on January 22nd. Guilty Gear Strive, the Nintendo Switch edition, is on January 23rd. Hello Kitty Island Adventure on January 30th. Sid Meier's Civilization 567 is launching on February 6th. Tomb Raider 4 through 6 remastered on February 14th. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition on March 20th. Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game, is on March 25th. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, is on sometime in April 2025. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, sometime this spring. Pokemon Legends ZA is sometime in 2025. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, sometime in 2025. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, also sometime in 2025. Joining that list is a Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake is also, both of those games are sometime in 2025. So those are the games that we know for sure, at least that Nintendo's highlighting on their UK website. Of those, we know like Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, and then Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and Metroid Prime 4, I believe, are the only Nintendo games that are
Pokemon
on.
Legends.
Oh, Pokemon. Yeah. I skipped over that one, but yeah, Pokemon Legends is also on that list. So so we don't really know a lot about what Nintendo's doing, or really any of the third parties, at least in terms of like big games so far. Probably because there's a there's a new system on the horizon. But of these games, what are you guys most excited about, Greg?
Actually, I've been giving a lot more thought into probably trying to pick up Donkey Kong Country. Surprisingly, like I have kind of would like to get back into replaying the entire Donkey Kong like series at some point, and it just kind of depends on timing and all the other games that I also wish to play too. But I kind of thinking more about my prediction more with like the new country game potentially returning back or whatever. So I was actually looking to get the Returns HD, at least just to have it, even if I'm not going to play it right away. But outside of that one, it's still definitely Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and also the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D are definitely at the very top of the list as well. Those are like the main ones that always stuck out to me as I work through the backlog as I can before the Switch Successor is out.
Yeah. That's it's always the challenge. We got more games in our backlog probably than we ever have before, and
Yep.
here we are on the verge of a brand new system. Barry, which games are you most excited about for 2025?
Of the ones in this list, for sure, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, Pokemon Legends, Metro Prime 4, Professor Layton, Dragon Quest 1 and 2. All games I'm excited for. There's also Trails Through Daybreak 2 is coming out this year. I believe the Trails versus Ease game is coming out later
Oh,
this year.
it's like your two worlds
Um,
combining.
I know it's awesome. There's I can't think of Tokyo Xanadu next. The
Mm,
sequel to Tokyo Xanadu is coming out this year. It's a big Falcom year. They've got like 4 or 5 games coming out this year, which has me really excited. And I hope more and more people are playing their games, because Falcom is amazing. And obviously that's just what we know about. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could be announced within the next month or so that it goes, oh well, that tops my list.
mhm.
Who knows?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be holding off on the new Donkey Kong. I think because so this was on Wii or Wii U. When did it come?
Wii and 3DS.
Wii. Okay. So like I know I have the original one, and I think I have it on Wii as well. I'm trying to think. I was like, do I need
Wii is
another
the original.
edition just because? Oh, that's right. Because I forgot it's the Returns. So I have the original Donkey Kong Country, and then I have Returns. I think just on Wii. But I was like, do I need another one?
They
So
added stuff though.
that's
If you
true.
didn't play the 3DS version, they added a bunch of brand new levels exclusive. So this is not only upping it to HD and taking away the damn shake that you needed to ground pound the Wiimote, but they also brought the 3DS levels into
Mm,
HD. So it's like the complete package.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I think the good thing about that game is that it's not something that I will be missing out on. Like if I don't get it day one, so that might be something that I'm like, oh yeah, if I have eventually caught up on my backlog, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can go ahead and pick up that game later on. So it's cool, but I don't think I'm going to be picking it up right away. Games that I mean, I'm not going to pick up Xenoblade just because I still have X on my Wii U that is perfectly fine, and I can go play it anytime I want. And I
But
What
they
was
added
your-
new content.
What's that?
And I was gonna,
They added new
I was gonna
content.
say, and I was also going to say, provided you turn on your Wii U once every few years, because otherwise it just gets bricked.
I do need to turn it on.
and then you would need the Switch version.
Yeah,
it's sitting right there. Like if it's right here. It's like there's the copy of the game right there. So I wasn't lying when I said I set up my Wii U on my office TV just to play Xenoblade X at some point. So it's there. I believe it might even be. Yeah. Oh no, I thought I actually put it in there, but but it's still in the case. Yeah, it's all ready. And yeah, I mean, it's cool that it has new content, but I mean, I haven't played enough of the original content yet. So
No, it's a whole new game. It's like they did with the other Xenoblade, like Future Connected and all that. It's like a epilogue, like standalone secondary game, like Torna.
oh,
They've added like a
was that
post-game.
what they announced in the recent trailer thing?
Well,
I
they
didn't watch
announced it originally that it was a remake and that they was going to have post-game content that counts as a brand new game.
Mhm.
Just like when you beat Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, you had Future Connected to go to.
Okay.
They also fixed the UI because like the when the Wii U, the text is really small and really hard to read,
Mhm.
and now they've made it significantly bigger and they made it a lot more helpful to get to quests. And the same thing they did with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. They made it so much easier and quality of life improvements.
Nice. So it's actually it's enhanced more than just graphics.
Oh well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely
Cool.
rebuilt.
Cool. I still probably won't get it because I can just play the one I have, but I get it though. So, yeah, Pokemon Legends is probably something that I'll be picking up. I don't pick up every Pokemon game, but that one looks pretty cool.
Did
Metroid
you
Prime
play the
4,
first Legend?
of course. No, I didn't. And then so much time has passed. I'm like, I'll just wait for ZA instead. But yeah, I mean, I've heard so many good things about it. So, of course, Metroid Prime 4 is something I've been looking forward to since 2017. So yeah, and maybe I'll pre-order it again. Hopefully they won't cancel that one. And then Layton, of course, so excited for that game to come back, or for that series to come back. And then Pokemon Fighting Collection 2 is probably one. The first one's great.
What fighting collection too?
I said Pokemon, didn't I? Capcom.
Yeah.
Capcom. You know what? They should release a
Pokemon
Pokemon
Coliseum.
Fighting Collection.
They do. It's called Pokken Tournament. There's only one fighting game, and it's
That's
already on the Switch.
Not the same. Pokken Tournament is, yeah. They have Pokemon Coliseum, Pokken Tournament, and then what was the other one? Pokemon. There was one other one that was like Coliseum.
Gales of Darkness or Battle Revolution.
Maybe Battle Revolution. I don't know.
On the Wii.
There's all these Pokemon battle games, so they could release a fighting collection of Pokemon too. Maybe that's a hidden sixth prediction. We're gonna see a Pokemon battle collection. But no, Capcom Fighting Collection. Greg's favorite games. So
yeah,
he says he's still not played Marvel vs. Capcom.
Gotta take you for a ride.
Oh man. Well, before we jump into what games are going to be coming out over the next couple weeks until our next episode on January 28th, we just want to remind you again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so on your favorite podcast app or here on YouTube as well. And leave some comments, share it with others. We'd be very grateful for that. Follow us on YouTube, but also follow us on social media, join our Discord. All those links are going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description. But let's jump into what games are going to be coming out over the next couple weeks. And as per usual, we're going to be scrolling a list on the screen from Metacritic, who's got a list of all the upcoming games, and kind of highlight some of those games and then talk about which ones we're going to be hopefully playing as well before the next episode. So some of those games are like January 16th, we're getting Dread Out Remastered Collection. This is a third-person supernatural horror. We're getting Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, as we've talked about earlier. We're getting Things Too Ugly, which is a point-and-click puzzler. Looked interesting. Yoburai Detective, Miasma Breaker, Kinka Banchu Otome Double Pack, Blade Chimera, which is we talked about earlier. Each of us has played. This is an occult cyberpunk Metroidvania. We're getting Valhalla Mountain, which is a Norse-inspired puzzle adventure. Also, Decoration Rush, which is a late Christmas game. It's actually coming out this month, which is interesting. All those are on January 16th. And then January 17th, Tales of Grace's F Remastered as an action RPG. Need for Speed Street King. Yes, that's what it's called. Not Need for Speed. It's Need for Race Street King. Way to get around some trademark there for those game developers and publishers.
I think you did say Need for Speed the
I
first
think I
time,
did
though.
because it's so easy to say. Need for Race Street King. And then January 22nd, we're getting Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist, which is another Metroidvania. On January 23rd, we're getting several games. Gravitators, which is a twin-stick shooter that looks interesting. Raven's Watch, which is a top-down roguelike action game. Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection is a 3D dungeon crawler, action dungeon crawler. Guilty Gear Strive is also coming out, along with Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles Remastered. And then Save the Doge, which I thought was just funny, along with another funny game that I thought was interesting called Cats Visiting Lunar New Year. And then on January 28th, we're getting Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter, which is an action RPG. So, yeah, any of those stand out to you, what you're going to be playing over the next couple weeks, or are you going to be working on the backlog there, Craig?
I'm most certainly working on the backlog, even though I alluded to getting the Donkey Kong game that's not on the priority list to immediately start playing. That was more just based upon the difficulty of getting Tropical Freeze a few years after the fact of it releasing and realizing I wanted to try to play it on Switch. And then I did play it for a little while, but then that one had kind of stopped. But it was just more of the fact just to hold on to it and make sure I can play it when I would need to. So that's why I'm opting to at least get the Donkey Kong game is earlier this time around, so I don't run into that situation again and having difficulty tracking it down. But yeah, it's mostly backlog games and finishing up other games from the holiday season and everything. Nothing really else really stands out that would be just jumping up the list.
Yeah. How about you, Barry?
Yeah, again, mainly backlog games right now. There's still so many that I'm working on from last year and from even previous years that I was able to get cheap that I'm like, all right, you know what, let me give these a shot. I would also say what you did, Tales of Grace's F, is fantastic. And if I didn't already play it and beat it, I would be 100% doing that one. I love the Tales of series, and that's a good one. So if you are interested in that, the Tales of series or action RPGs, absolutely pick that one up. Greg, you should probably pick that one up. It's good.
Nice. Yeah, I don't really know if any of the ones that are coming out over the next couple of weeks are going to be things I pick up. Like I talked about as well with DKC Returns, might be an eventual pickup, but probably not right away. And I, as these guys know, I got tons of things in the backlog, things that we're supposed to be doing for game chats. We're supposed to be already done or supposed to be doing really soon. So that's probably what I'm going to be chipping away over on the next couple weeks and do as many of those as we can, as I can to get caught up on some of those game chats and get you guys some more content as well on our YouTube channel. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'm gonna be doing. Gearing up, man. I'm at it's gonna be an interesting time. Like if they do end up launching the next Switch Successor, whatever console, like in the spring, and my prediction is wrong, and it actually does happen. Let's say they announce it, and all of a sudden it's launching in March or April or something like that. I'm gonna be like so bummed because my entire spring is so packed with other things that I'm be like traveling and doing all these other things, and meanwhile, like it's all exciting and good stuff, but part of me is going to wish that I could just be sitting and playing the new Mario game or whatever instead. But we'll see how that all pans out. But yeah, over the next couple of weeks, I think it's one of the lesser times, so in terms of my busyness, so hopefully I'll be able to actually get some time to play some of these games that have been just sitting on my Switch and waiting for me to touch. But yeah, what else is going on in you guys' life before we we wrap up? Anything big for the new year, Greg?
I mean, not a whole lot going on. My daughter's birthday is at the end of January, so we got like a party. I think that will be, I think the Saturday right before the next podcast. So it's like this pottery, like painting class thing that she wanted to do with some of her friends from school and other like cousins and stuff. That should be a pretty good time there. And then my wife's birthday is like the early February, so that will be another upcoming thing that will be busy for. And then I know she did already buy herself Donkey Kong HD, Returns HD, and I was like, I could have got you that for your birthday, like that could have easily been there, but that doesn't work out that way. But yeah, it's not a whole lot of other things really going on at the time being. We're still making progress on other things around the house and all that kind of stuff too. And then we got some more family parties with, I was saying, with the birthdays. So it's a early early years, a lot of the birthdays in the family. So yep.
That's exciting. Cool. Barry, you working on your script for the next presentation?
No, not yet. I'm taking a little bit of a breather first. We're still working on getting things out. We should have a couple games coming out, shipping to people here shortly. We're just waiting for the last of the print material to arrive. The carts are sitting there ready to go, so hopefully we get some of that stuff out. But otherwise, I'm just spending time with the little one and supporting my wife, who's been busy at work, and just trying to do some cleaning and taking care of some stuff in between game time and when I can, because nap time is so important
For everyone involved.
for everyone involved.
Yep, it's a recharge time for both baby and you.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Well, speaking of
That's where I use
recharge,
the Magic
we
Mind.
just want to say thanks again to Magic Mind for sponsoring this episode. And please be sure to head over to magicmind.com/NFJAN or follow the link in the show notes or the YouTube description. You're going to be able to get 45% off the Magic Mind bundle. That is a huge percentage off. So check out magicmind.com/NFJAN for that 45% off. And thanks again to Magic Mind for sponsoring us. If you have not subscribed, we just want to one more time on this episode encourage you to do that, both on your podcast apps or on YouTube. If you're watching us live on Twitch as well, you can follow us over there. Follow us on social media. We'd love to have you jump on there and follow us there, as well as join our Discord. We got all those links in our show notes and the YouTube description as well. Love to have you guys just join into the community. And it was a great place to talk with you guys because we took a couple weeks off for our holiday break, and it was great to still stay in contact with everybody in between episodes and everything on social media and our Discord. So it's a great place to go and still talk gaming even between our podcast episodes. So thank you guys so much for being here for another episode. Like we said, our next one's going to be recorded live on January 28th, and we hope to see you there at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and we'd love to see you there both on YouTube and Twitch. And hope you guys have a good next couple weeks, and happy game, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.